Just as I said a little bit earlier, if you didn't hear, if you're not one of the speakers, if you could just mute your microphone until the end when we're going to open it up for questions. And I just wanted to welcome you all. I'm Susan Asadi. I'm the Executive Director of the New York City chapter of the Global Chamber. And so wherever you are, if you have anyone dialing in from other time zones, good afternoon, New York, good evening, and good morning. And for Tal, good evening. The Global Chamber hosts events like today to foster conversation with education about expanding global business and to facilitate connections for our members to our network of over 100 million people around the world. So it's my pleasure to welcome you to our monthly meetup. And today we're going to do a special program with the Queens College Tech Incubator, and we'll hear from their tech companies and engage in a conversation with them about exploring avenues for global growth. So Anna, if you can mute your speaker, I'd appreciate it. Then we'll hear from one of our global visitors and our executive director from Israel about paths to growth in Israel for tech companies. So first up, Frank Wu, thank you very much for joining us. He's the president of Queens College City University of New York. He's been there since July 2020. He is an American law professor and author who has taught at University of California, Hastings for over 10 years. And during that time, he was designated as a distinguished professor. He previously served for over 5 years as their chancellor and dean, and he was one of the first Asian Americans to serve in that position. He's been recognized by a publication called The National Jurist, where he was ranked as the most influential dean in legal education and the third in the nation among legal educators. He was the first Asian American professor to teach at Howard Law School, and he is the author of a book called Yellow Race in America Beyond Black and White, arguing for a new paradigm of civil rights that goes beyond a black and white paradigm. So without further ado, I'd love to hear from Frank. And if you could share with us what's new at Queens College. You have about 3 or 4 minutes, and I understand that you recently launched a business school. So since this is a global business forum, if you want to share anything about the global business school, that might be, I mean, your business school at CUNY, that would be great for us to hear. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you so very much. And thank you to all of the guests. I know I'm joined today by Ying Zhao, who heads our tech incubator. It's wonderful to be here with the Global Chamber and truly an honor. We're in the world's borough, and that's an important part of our identity. We serve a diverse population, more than virtually any other college campus you're going to find. We have more than 100 languages spoken by our students. You know, I didn't even know there were 100 languages still in use today, but that is just one indicator of how diverse we are on our beautiful campus of 80 acres right in Flushing, Queens, which has been revitalized by immigrant entrepreneurs from the world over. And higher education is the engine of the American dream. That's why I'm just so thrilled to head Queens College. I didn't set out just to be a college president. I wanted to be the Queens College president because of the diversity and because we still offer access to the highest quality of higher education. We've started this year 2 new schools, both a business school and an arts school. We did that very deliberately. We want to be the institution of the double major of people who embrace practical liberal arts. So our business school, for example, has a business and liberal arts program. It's rolling out fintech programs. We want to be the business school of the future, just as Queens College was dubbed the college of the future when it was founded in 1937. It's our 85th anniversary this year. So we know that for many of our students, when they come to us, their immigrant parents or perhaps their parents who didn't finish high school, didn't go to college. We have so many who are not just the first generation born in America, but the first generation to have access to higher education. We know that for so many of the families who have sacrificed so much, they're very practical minded. They want to ensure that those sacrifices were worthwhile. And so they want the students to become entrepreneurs. And we want to support that, even as we recognize that the students have other passions as well. And that's why we simultaneously opened an art school. So we're hoping that maybe some students will enroll in both, and then perhaps they can become entrepreneurs in the creative arts and the performing arts. Maybe they'll run a theater company or dance company. So we want to give people multiple skill sets, and we're embracing the digital economy. We're also about to roll out a data science program because we know that for anything you do, big data matters. That data science program will bring together the humanities, the social sciences, the hard sciences, and of course, our business schools. So we're really looking to train people to be fully engaged citizens. And that's how I'll close on this idea that we are a civic institution. We've always been, and it's even more apparent now as we emerge from the pandemic. Everywhere I go in New York City, I meet people who, even if they didn't attend Queens College or one of our sister CUNY institutions, their brother or sister, or their father or mother or their cousin attended in the past or attends today. So I know that we are training the backbone of the workforce. And what I say to folks is, if you're in the borough of Queens, even if you don't graduate from Queens College, you probably graduated at Queens College, because our Colden Auditorium, the largest indoor venue in the entire borough, seating 2,100, is home for so many high school and junior high school commencements. That's symbolic of the role that we play. So I see us as a civic institution here to train and retrain and retool and upskill workers as we come out of the pandemic that none of us have ever experienced, and emerge into a world that we all want to make better. So thank you again to the Global Chamber for inviting us to be a part of this. And we hope to see you as we develop this business school, which just launched 6 weeks ago and is already going strong. And we're sure that the graduates we're producing will work alongside you, with you, and they'll be out there creating even more jobs as New York City comes roaring back. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Frank. How exciting. I'm really looking forward to coming out there and seeing the new business school. Excellent. Okay, so now I'd like to turn to Ying Zhao. She's the executive director of the Tech Incubator. She's been there for about 5 years. Ying and I had an opportunity to meet about 3-4 years ago at another New York business forum, and she and I have been talking about how we could do a program together. And here we are doing it today. So Ying, I'm going to let you introduce your panel, and then we're going to have a conversation with them for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to turn to Tal and bring him into the conversation as well. Go ahead, take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne, for inviting us to participate in this event. I'd also like to thank President Wu for his strong support for the Tech Incubator at Queens College. It's been over 2 years since the pandemic started. Technology has had a profound impact on all of us. Some businesses were able to keep up, not only survive, but also thrive by building communities, pivoting their businesses, and using technology as a lever to move their business forward. Others has been challenged and are struggling to keep up with the rapidly changing world. So for today's event, I've invited 4 amazing entrepreneurs at Incubator to have a conversation with us. They are charging forward despite the headwinds. I'd like to start a conversation by asking each of them to introduce themselves and their businesses. Let's start with Dawn. Hi, Dawn. Tell us about your business. What products, services do you provide, and how did you get started?
Thank you very much, Ying and the Global Chamber, for this opportunity to address you this afternoon. I'm Dawn Kelly. I am the founder and CEO of the Nourish Spot, a fresh and healthy food and beverage, smoothie, juice, and salad bar. I started the business in September. Well, we opened the business in September 2017 after I had worked for over 35 years in corporate America. Using my severance and savings, I established the business with my daughter and my son, and we have been providing customizable food and beverage to our community and beyond ever since, including throughout the pandemic.
Yeah, let's move on to Bernardita. Would you like to also tell us who you are and your business, and how did you get started?
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me here, the Global Chamber and the Tech Incubator. And I guess before even I start, I just want to thank the Tech Incubator, because if not for them, I don't think WalkSpan would have advanced as much. So anyway, I'm an environmental planner and I'm founder and CEO of WalkSpan. WalkSpan is a data-driven and location intelligent technology firm focused on advancing walkability and urban livability at a global scale. So one of our target niche market is real estate, where, like, for example, most of the focus in real estate is on property, but buyer's remorse can be associated to the neighborhood, like you wish you didn't choose that neighborhood, for example. So what we do with our technologies, we're able to match people not only with the property, but with the neighborhood of their preference. And I got into this business because I was living in the suburb for the longest time, like 30 years. And when my marriage ended, I moved to the city, and to my surprise, the last 5 years were my happiest yet. And so I attribute this joy to the power of place. You know, I moved in a neighborhood where there are shops, cafes, trees, parks. And so at that point, I realized that, you know, to build WalkSpan so that I could structure data in order to help people find their happy place.
Yeah, so now let's move on to Josh. Josh, could you introduce your business and how did you get started?
Thank you, Ying. So hi, my name is Josh Gottlieb, and I'm the founder of K-Level 1 Cybersecurity. K-Level 1 is first and foremost a buy-side consultancy. This means that we find and compare the best products and tools for our clients and pass on any additional incentives from sellers to our clients in the form of a rebate. This ensures that our interests are aligned solely on the positive outcomes of our clients. Now that that's out of the way, at K-Level 1 Cybersecurity, we provide 2 products specifically tailored to ransomware. Our 2 products are prevention and recovery. The prevention package encompasses what to do to mitigate the risks of ransomware. The 2 main risks are data loss and data exfiltration. If you don't pay the ransom, your data will be encrypted and inaccessible. Also, your data and potentially your client's data can be exfiltrated and posted publicly on the dark web. To protect against data exfiltration, our prevention package implements best practices to identify and encrypt high-value data. This means that if hackers tried to exfiltrate your data, they would be unable to view your data and no one would have access to it on the dark web. To protect against data loss, our prevention package implements best practices for data storage and backup procedures for quick recovery in the event of a ransomware interruption. If these preventative measures are implemented correctly, then there may be no need to pay ransom that can range from $10,000 to over $1 million in the event of a ransomware attack. Our recovery package aids with the removal of ransomware, ransom negotiation, ransom payment in cryptocurrency, and a detailed audit of the incident to identify IT vulnerabilities. Lastly, the business got started when a small business, after being attacked by ransomware for a second time, approached me to help pay a ransom in order to gain access to their customers' data. After a year of research and reviewing the incident, I found the best products and processes to prevent ransomware hacks. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. So switching gears, let's move on to Hannah to talk about something enjoyable. Hannah, you're muted.
Hi everyone. Hi, it's very nice to be here. Thank you, Susan and Ying, to invite me. It's very my pleasure to connect with you all. So I have been working with Ying for a very long time now, and we always talking about global connectivity and how can be the TIQC could be the global hub for entrepreneur at Queens as well as the Asian community. So I'm really glad that if there is something come out from that, and we could make that dream come true. So as for myself, I'm currently running a venture studio, which is AI enable, where we build AI tool in-house in order to predict consumer behavior and trend, to identify consumer pain point, and from there we deploy the solution between the problem and solution fit, and in order to, and then we create the product market fit. So we focus in consumer health and health equity. 50% of our portfolio are in food tech, and the rest we use as hedging, where we invest in property tech. So basically what we do right now is more of like we have three components. Like first is we create the venture at the ideation stage, and the second component is where we build the startup, the several startup at the same time, using our own DNA repetitive process. And the last is where we set up the whole operational infrastructure in order to enable the startup building process more efficiently. So the reason why I started this business, because I have been working in finance, in investment banking for a long time. I worked for Goldman Sachs in Tokyo and New York, and during my my working time in corporate, era, then I realized that most of capital, most of big opportunity always go to the top 1%, and I really want to use my knowledge, and together with the share talent and network, including Ying and TIQC, we want to serve the 99% of entrepreneurs. So that's where I am today. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Yeah, I'm going to just ask a few more questions, and I think Susan has left time at the end for everybody else to ask more questions to the panel. Okay, so for the next question, any of you can answer it. Okay, so what role did technology play in growing your business? I think some of you already touched upon that, but if you want to talk more about that, please go ahead. What role did technology play? Yeah.
So for me, Ying, technology has played a number of different roles in our business. One, since we are a food business, a food and beverage business, during COVID, we had to rely heavily on our food delivery app partners. So we use technology through our relationships with like Uber Eats and DoorDash to make sure that we can get an even wider variety of customers into the Nourish Spot. Additionally, we use technology for our social media. We're actually leveraging technology to promote the business. And I appreciate the work that we got from the Tech Incubator to even help us create like a link tree to make sure we could capture all of the articles and all of the different links to various parts of our business. We use technology for our POS system, our point of sale system. And even during COVID, because we went to a curbside pickup, we had to purchase a handheld POS system to take it to the door. And last but not least, we're working on an app for the Nourish Spot. So there are a variety of different ways in which we've had to lean on and leverage technology in order to push the business forward and persevere.
Thank you, Dawn. Since you mentioned the social media that we did, I want to give a shout out to Ariba, who is our project manager. And I want to thank her to lead a wonderful, wonderful intern team and to provide those services to the entrepreneurs. Okay, so who else want to answer this question? What role does technology play in your business?
So I can be next. So the work we do is very place-based. So we use a lot of mapping technology. We gather a lot of data, but this data, we achieve a visualization through technologies like geographic information systems. And also we rely on a lot of open street data that we use. And then on top of that, we have, we allow our data to be searched. Like, for example, if you want to know the kind of neighborhood that would suit your preferences, then we allow a search, and then our system can generate all the addresses that meet your preference in terms of neighborhood. So that's another technology that's associated with our products. And then you can also compare different neighborhoods based on what kind of lifestyle essentials or types of walkability features you want to see. So that way it helps in decision making of not only what the building or the property looks like, but what the neighborhood is like.
Thank you, Benedita. Josh and Hannah, you want to add anything to it?
Oh, well, I can, yes, I can help with that. So in my business, basically, artificial intelligence like AI is a backbone where we use it to identify the consumer behavior and trend. So from that, we can predict what would be the upcoming product, or what coming the ingredient in terms of, in our case is a food ingredient. So we actually have very good case study where we predict 8 months in advance compared to Nestle about the same food ingredient. So because of that, we were able to launch a beverage line 8 months before them when they launched a similar beverage line. So that has been one of our successful case for our business. Yes.
Okay.
So that helped a lot. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Josh, rather than for you to answer this question, because I think you probably can take the whole day to answer that, I'm going to ask you to answer the next question,
Okay.
which is how did the pandemic impact your business?
Mm-hmm. So during the pandemic, as more companies moved to remote setup, the overall cyber risk exposure had increased across the market, making it viable for a new entrant such as K-Level 1 cybersecurity to enter the market. So we saw a huge spike in ransomware attacks in the market, and as a result, many people reached out to us to deal with recovering their data.
Yeah, thank you. Any of the other panelists, would you like to answer that question also?
Well, I would mention at the Nourish Spot, because the street where we're located on, there's not many small businesses to begin with. We actually limited our hours. So we changed our hours. So we were usually open from 8:30 to 7, and we changed our hours to 9:30 to 6, and we're still working with those hours. We additionally went to curbside pickup, as I mentioned earlier, because our space is small and we were trying to keep our staff safe and free from COVID-19. And we also partnered more with lots of organizations and individuals to feed essential workers, to provide non-traditional internship opportunities to students. Like now we have some virtual social media interns. So we pivoted in a lot of different ways to make sure that we could remain open. And then one other thing we did, we looked for a lot of grants in order to, fill in the gaps of some of the business that was missing because businesses were not open and employees were not seeking lunch.
Thank you, Dawn. Hannah and Benedita, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, so we were in the development phase during the pandemic, and it actually worked very well for us because there were a lot of people who were unemployed and had trouble looking for work, and in the field of data and the field of geographic information systems, we were able to bring in almost 35 interns, about 35 interns, to help us gather data for our business. So we're really grateful for that. And we moved from 10 cities, and now we have 45 cities, because they've helped us a lot in just gathering whatever open source data we could get. Yeah.
Thank you, Bernadita. Hannah, anything to add?
For our side, basically, because we are a venture studio, so we have a portfolio of different startups, and because 50% of our portfolio are in food and food tech, so we were affected a lot by the pandemic, seriously, and we do invest in food chain. Basically, it stick with like open the store. So during the pandemic, we had to close, temporarily close a loss, and we have sort of very no cash flow generating from that. Why still there lots of expenditure, like we have to pay staff, etc. However, because we already we always have the mindset of risk management. So I'm the financial strategist myself for the portfolio. So 50% of our portfolio we already hedged with the real estate investment. So because even though we didn't have the income generating from the food side, but we do have income generating from the property investment side, and it's quite stable. And actually now we do have capital gain on that side. So in terms of net, we still are positive in cash flow. So it's really helped in terms of like having a financial literacy and try to hedge and try to anticipate any risk we can, occur in the future. So I think that's really important lesson for us.
Thank you, Hannah. So this is going to be my last question for the panel. Where do you see your business grow? Anybody?
So I can start. Yeah, I think we're very excited about our business, and actually there's this alignment with the global chambers because we want to go global, and because the benefits of walking is not just for certain cities. It's great for the health. In the US, for example, the CDC spends over 70 billion in preventing diseases that are caused by physical inactivity. So if one enhances the walking experience and the walking environment, this will be helped. And then it reduces the carbon footprint. It engages communities, and also it improves local economies. So we just want to advance globally, in the sense that these are universal needs. But in the US, 30 cities that we have data on generates 51% of the real estate revenue in the whole country. So we have data on 30 cities. So we just want to keep focusing on this for now, and refining our technology. And so, in other words, to help make the world more humans, the cities more human-centered, and so walking as much as possible and cars only as necessary. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, Josh.
And for me,
Yeah,
ever since we started the Nourish Spot, I've been using a hashtag in our social media that says ubiquitous brand dream, because I have a really large dream for our family-owned business like Bernadita. I think that our local business has global implications because people need to be healthy all over the world. And so we are looking to expand into airports, golf courses, amusement parks, entertainment venues, any place where people need to eat healthier. And all of those places are places where people are already engaged in healthy activities for the most part. Additionally, we are trying to bring one of our products to market. We have a dressing, and we're looking to package it, manufacture it, and bring it into the marketplace so that we could sell it at big retailers. So that is our dream. I'm thankful that the Global Chamber and Yu Ying have invited us to join, because I feel like things are aligning, and I have a lot of hope for the future for the Nourish Spot. Thank you.
Yay, thank you. Don, Josh, Hannah?
Yeah, thanks. I really see this business growing to larger companies and globally, because everyone's digital right now, and we're all faced with the same setup, very similar setups and risks. And then also, more than anything else, I'd just like to be a contact for anyone in the global chambers of commerce to call in the event of a ransomware crisis, because no one wants to do the preventative measures, but when this does, if and when it does occur to someone in the network, then I hope they have someone to call with to quickly deal with this. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we don't want these things to happen to us, but it's good to know that you have people you can call. That's awesome.
And then can I say one more thing that I left out, because I think it's very, very important. And
Okay, go ahead.
I want to employ more. I want to employ more young people around the world than I am now. So that also is one of my big goals for the Nourish Spot.
Gotcha. Hannah.
So, I'm glad that the pandemic is over very soon, and everything will become more stable. So right now, I'm leading the APAC, the Asia Pacific expansion for the Food Tech Pre-Seed Accelerator. And also we are building the whole Food Tech APAC. So where do we see from now? We see that the moment we can stabilize and we can start building the community in Asia Pacific, we really hope to align with Global Chamber as well with Tech Incubator as Queen's College to create the connection, the global connectivity between Asia Pacific and New York, because New York is the center of the world. That's how I see it. And Queens is like so diverse, and TIQC has been a great friend with us. Yes.
Thank you, Hannah. Okay, I want to thank all the panelists for introduce your business and your vision. I'm going to turn it over to Susan so that we can open a dialogue between our entrepreneurs and yours. Susan.
Great. Thank you, Ying, and really, really interesting companies that you all are working with. And I think this is a great segue because we're talking about how do you want your business to grow. So we have Tal Zilberberg here from Israel. So you might want to consider how you can grow in the Middle East, and you couldn't do better than connecting with Tal. He knows everybody, certainly in Israel and a lot of parts of the Middle East. He's the CEO of Green Book USA, and he's also the executive director of our Tel Aviv, Israel chapter. So Tal, would you like to share with us something about your company? Maybe respond to some of the stories that you heard from Hannah, Bernadita, and Dawn and Josh, and then also maybe suggest to them some ideas about how they could expand their companies into Tel Aviv, Israel.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. And I think it's good morning or good afternoon there. My name is Tal, as Susan mentioned. I'm the executive director in Global Chamber Tel Aviv, Israel, and I'm also the co-owner and CEO for Green Book USA. I prepared a short presentation with a study case, and I just wanted to mention that I'm really happy every time that a person or a few people create something, a business. It's like the birth of a child, and I really hope that you will manage to succeed and grow. And the only thing that can stop you is yourself. So I'm sure with all the enthusiasm that I see, nothing will stop you. Can I share the screen, Susan? Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, it's a short presentation about entering the tech industry in Israel. And by saying tech, it's a really large word because we have several tech industries. The main types of industries in Israel are cyber, software, IoT, which is the Internet of Things. It's a very new, it's not so new, but a very advanced things that are happening here now. Meditech and agri-tech, and communication and military. These are the most dominant industries in Israel about the tech. The market overview is divided something like this. It's about 0.7 billion in electronics and optics, 3.6 billion with biomed, and 3.9 billion with semiconductors. Israel is very known with its semiconductors industry, 1.6 billion in military and 3.3 billion in communication. Also 3.3 billion software and internet, which is what my company is doing, and 1.5 billion other industries in the tech zone. The challenges in entering to the Israeli tech market, first of all, it's a very tight market. Israel is only 8 million people, and the tech industry is really developed here. A lot of units in the army are training people for cyber and security and software because our very developed military industry. We also have security issues that people are trying to avoid. So this is something that challenges a lot of companies that are entering Israel. And we have mentality gaps. As a business from the US, the mentality is different than the Israeli mentality. In Israel, everything is very, very fast. Sometimes people consider us as rude or very direct, and everything needs to be tomorrow, and not tomorrow, but yesterday, ready for yesterday. We call it like this. In the US, it's different. You need to wait. You have to wait to people to answer your email. It's rude to push somebody a WhatsApp notification or text message. In Israel, things are working differently, which is, I think, an advantage for people that are coming from the US, for example, because you don't need to be polite. So polite, you can just push yourself very, very strong, and nobody will consider it as rudeness. And we have big companies, they're rather working with local providers. These are the challenges in entering the Israeli industry with tech, the tech industry, sorry. So I don't just come to bring you challenges, I'm also offering some solutions with my experience. So personal contacts, the first, and I think it's all around the world, personal contacts are always opening doors, but in Israel specifically, because everybody here are serving in the army, for example, and it's a small country, and it's really like family-like. Everybody knows almost everybody. So if you have a connection, a good connection, and I will elaborate a little bit later about it, your chances to come to the table with those who make the decisions are really, really high. So you can be the best company in the world, but if you don't have a personal connection, it will be very hard to people to notice you. So this is the first solutions that we can offer, and Global Chamber does this very easily. The other thing is foot in the doorstep. A lot of companies offers a lot of solutions, a lot of products, big things, big solutions, big products. Sometimes it's good just to start with the small things. You can offer a service that is completing the other services of those companies. Once they're getting to know you, the door is open for you for more businesses. So sometimes if you are offering very big, for example, like Bernadita has a big data solutions, she can start with something even smaller. And then once they're getting to know her, it will open the doors very widely. So this is the second solution that I'm offering for people that wants to work with the Israeli industry. It doesn't matter if it's internet, communication, meditech, anything. Everything is working with these three milestones. And the third thing, which is connected to Josh, is the ISO stamps and certification, the GDPR and CyberCheck. Most of the companies are really, really sensitive to this. So if you are offering any technology, or you want to work with big companies, just make sure that you have the right certifications. For example, and Josh, you can correct me if I'm wrong, there are special companies, maybe your company is doing the same, that allow to issue certificate of cybersecurity safety. So if your company has this, you have better chances to open the doors to the Israeli tech industry.
Mhm.
So if I want to draw your roadmap, first of all, locate a company that you wish to connect with. Okay, so to say I want everything, it's nice and you can have it, but you need to be more specific. Once you're locating this company, try to find out who can help you make the first intro, and it must be a personal connection to a C-level. For example, I can connect you to C-levels, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they are taking the decisions, but they can offer you a seat in the table near those who make the decision. So this will shorten the time instead of just reaching out through LinkedIn and sending emails. The personal connection is the shortest way to penetrate, I think, any market, but specific in Israel. And I know that also this works in the Middle East, especially in the Middle East and Israel. Second, after you make the connection, prepare a full review on your company, including cyber checks, if you can, of course, or if you have a GDPR. It's the European standard, but now Israel is starting to push this forward very, very strong. GDPR is a protocol of security, and who can enter their website and the protocols and the back office, especially if you're giving username and passwords. It's a very, very big protocol that you can follow. You need to follow. It's a process that takes sometimes more than a year. Also, it's depends what kind of services your company is offering, of course, and what kind of companies you want to connect with. And the third step is just work fast and don't wait for a long time. Keep following up. This is connecting to the mentality gap differences. In Israel, if you're sending an email and you will wait for your reply, sometimes you can wait for 3 years and you will say, oh, what's happening? But it's nothing personal, because the person that received an email received tens and thousands of emails, and you need to just be a little bit more pusher. So don't feel bad if you are sending email and then texting a message, and then finally somebody will break and give you an answer. And just make sure that you are doing it with respect and politeness, but don't feel bad, because the pace in Israel is so fast. If you will, I don't know if who from you visit Israel, but the pace is really very fast. Everything is moving fast. Everybody's talking fast, moving fast, speaking fast, and they very direct. So there is no behind the screen and in front of the screen. Everything is in front of the screen. I'm sorry to say this, but on your face. So everything is in your face. When you know this, you know how to work with it and balance between the two things. So I think it's an advantage because I'm living in this kind of society, but everyone here is like this. So you need to stand out. So this is what I'm offering as a solution if you want to penetrate the Israeli tech market. Also, Global Chamber can help a lot. So feel free to visit the Israeli meetups and feel free to ask for specific connections. And if you are a member, you can present your company or your business in our events as a member, and you will have an exposure. And of course, we can help you through the Global Chamber. Probably Suzanne mentioned it. And I want to give you a study case about my company, which is called Greenbook, and the brand name called eCard. I will stop the share screen so you can see me, because I'm just going to talk a little bit. So we started 7 years ago, and we brought the world, and I can say it very calmly, that we brought the world the idea of digital business card. 7 years ago, nobody knew what is a digital business card. Sometimes people don't know even today. A digital business card is a way to save time. It's bringing all your digital assets into one place and make people that are not so techy, because the technology always moving forward and very, very fast. And it bring everything to in one place, so you can customize everything very fast. You can create content very fast. For example, if you want to create a website, it will take you at least 1 week or 3 weeks if you are very techy. And to create our digital business card, it take you 5 minutes with everything inside. But if you do have a website, we don't want to replace it. So we want to enhance your website and your Facebook and your LinkedIn, and everything is becoming one. So this was the first thing. And people didn't understand what's the difference until they felt it in their hands. So they said, oh, I have a website. Oh, I have a paper business card. Oh, I have a LinkedIn. I don't need anything like this. But once they used it in their phones, they immediately understand the difference in the user experience. Why? Because it was saving them time. And I think that the equation is the more time you save, the more that you're going to use the product that you are offering. So this is, for example, an e-card, and you can send it very fast. I can share my e-card later, and everything is moving fast. But the e-card was just the first product. We have like more than 60 products, but the study case that I want to show you, even in Israel, when I'm speaking the language, when I know the mentality, we needed to work so hard. We went from door to door, not door to door, but we did so many meetings and we earned so little money because we needed to educate the market. So sometimes you have business with technology, and this is how things are going with technology. You will always have the Gauss how do you say it in English? The Gauss bell, we call it. So a curve, a Gauss curve. So most of the people are not so techy, so the technology is old, obsolete. For example, Facebook, nobody is use Facebook with the young generation. 23 years old and below never use Facebook, because Facebook is for all people like me, 40 and above. And everybody is using Instagram, TikTok. So the technology is always moving very, very fast. So when you are educating a market, there will always be some very significant part that the technology is overwhelming them. It doesn't matter what kind of technology. So they immediately will disqualify it. And a lot of people will don't understand what you're offering. So you do have a very, very small portion of the market that you can connect to. And once you're entering this gap, you can make it wider. And in Israel, what we did is we just moved for a customer to customer. And once they're starting to use this, it's open up. So today we have more than 50,000 businesses, authorities, municipalities, big companies, national companies that are using our product. In Israel, it's a very, very big portion of the market. And we also opened in 2018 a subsidiary company in the United States. And this is actually the international company. And we're moving fast and forward and always developing. For example, I can expose today, because by the end of this month, this will happen. We can be offering a website to create in less than 5 minutes, which costs less than $100 a year, nothing. And you can customize. This is something that every person that is not techie, and for example, 60 years old, 70 years old, 80 years old are using the system, because everything is visual. So when you're doing a business, just follow your instincts. Just know the market that, especially with technology, is very, very narrow, because people are being overwhelmed with technology. It doesn't matter which kind of type of technology, and just try to aim to this portion, and slowly it will widen up, and you can offer these services to more people, or you can adjust yourself to more services through this business of yours. So was our study case, and I can share my details over here. And if you have questions, I have this sentence that I really like: saving a 1 minute in your work process is better than closing the next deal. Okay. And these are my details. If you can scan this, you will receive my e-card, and I will share it also in the chat box. And I think that that's it. And if somebody wants to have question, if we have time, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Yeah, excellent, Tal. That was great. So, we did just have one last question, but I think that, pretty much Tal has addressed it, with the network that the Global Chamber has with over 100 million people and 18,000 students from Queens College, representing 170 countries. How can we leverage the strength of both organizations to help you grow your business globally? I think Tal has given you some specifics about Israel. And I also think I always find it interesting to talk to him because he talks about how speaking fast and being direct is unique to Israel. I definitely think that's what New Yorkers are like, and Dawn is shaking her head. That's how we like to do business anyway. So I think there's a natural simpatico between, both Israel and New Yorkers. But I didn't know if any of you wanted to respond to Tal, wanted to ask Ying or Tal or I what we can do to help you or what you need from us. So I was going to sort of throw it back to you guys. Maybe Dawn, you would like to speak about that?
Well, I mean, number one, first of all, I want to say thank you again, Susan. And I want to tell Tal that I'm really interested in this e-card thing. I like making things easier and more expedient. So I'm going to reach out to you about that. I often think about how people can help me. And I think the simplest way is if the members of the Global Chamber would follow the Nourish Spot. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, and it's at the Nourish Spot, THENOURISHSPOT. And also share news of us with your family, friends, colleagues. We've been open for 5 years. We've persevered through the pandemic, and we are looking to grow. And the only way to do that is if we have increased numbers of individuals that know about us, that share us, that engage with us. And so that's my major request. Come, let us nourish you at the Nourish Spot whenever you're in New York City, in Jamaica, Queens specifically. We're 10 minutes from Kennedy Airport. And again, please tell your family, friends, colleagues that we're open for business. We're open to catering. And we'd love to talk to you about sponsorships and new venues. Thank you, Susan.
Excellent. Bernardita, would you like to
Yeah.
add something in here?
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Tal, and thank you, Susan. So I actually think that you've already said it, Tal. We need that foot on the door, the ability to collaborate. And actually, when it comes to outside the US, I mean, the US is already a bit behind when it comes to promoting walkability at a global scale. Like Europe, like many countries in Europe, they are converting parking lots into urban walkable spaces and all that. But we have a technology that can enhance measurement and help develop and identify more of these walkable areas. So there's a lot of room to collaborate in terms of like just sharing ideas and methodologies. So that would be wonderful if we can collaborate elsewhere. So thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, we should maybe do an event where we do a walking tour of certain parts of New York.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk to Ying about that. We should definitely do that. Hannah.
Yes.
You need to unmute. Okay.
Yes. Hi. So because of my nature of venture creation business, so I would love to create more business opportunity if possible, using Global Chamber platform as well as Queen's College platform. Specifically, we are launching the accelerator here with like 20 to 30 startup per year in Asia Pacific. And when speaking about food and food tech, like Asia is the world's largest food ingredient manufacturing area. And like if take one example, Vietnam is supplying 50% demand on cashew nut, and US is a major importer of that, tea, coffee, cashew. And with the technology, innovation, as of now, we are talking a lot about plant-based protein, alternative protein, and how those kind of like nutrition precision can help to improve the health of human health. And also, like in can, for example, like can increase the immunotherapy or increase the biodefense sort of area. So I think those areas we would like to collaborate and hopefully could sort of like leverage together with Global Chamber platform and with Queen's College to create more opportunity globally in New York.
Okay, excellent. Hannah, Josh, would you like to say something? We're getting pretty close to the end. So if you can keep it to a minute, that would be great.
I'll keep it very short. Thank you. I'm thankful for the opportunity, and speaking to the Global Chamber of Commerce, just open to more speaking opportunities. We don't market, we don't spend money on marketing. We just try to deliver the best value to our customers. So that's very, very valuable to us. Thank you.
Okay, well, excellent. Well, Josh, the way that you can have more speaking opportunities besides this tech incubator partnership that Ying and I have set up is you need to become a member. So we'll talk more about that. I will be in touch with all of you. And Ying, would you like to add something before we?
No, actually, I would like to invite Ariba to say 2 sentences about the Tech Incubator, what we do, what services we have, and she's doing an excellent job managing all the projects. Ariba.
Great.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for such a kind words, everybody. Tech Incubator, in a few words, we are here to help new startup business companies in tech-related services. We help them grow. We have interns and we have Queen's College students who actually learn these services and it's grow their abilities and skills in it. We provide social media marketing, web development, Google Analytics, data management. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll drop my email. Also, feel free to reach out to our website, sign up for our newsletter. There are a lot of good things going on in Tech Incubator. You definitely want to know that. So thank you, everybody, for joining, and have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thank you, Ariba. Susan, I just want to thank you again for this opportunity and look forward to more opportunities.
Yeah, I think you and I will definitely develop some other events together. And I'm sorry that we didn't have time to have more of a conversation follow up from, Tal's fabulous presentation. But like he said, he has a meetup every other week in Israel, right, Tal?
Yeah.
And what time of day are those?
Usually it's Thursday. I think it's 1:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay. So yeah, you should look for those. And Tal is open to having you as a non-member attend. So, if you have any difficulties finding where his meetup is or any of that detail, please reach out to me. And our next meeting for the Global Chamber New York City will be May 12th. I did put the information in the chat, and then we have our first hybrid meeting on June 9th, which is going to be a meeting about East Coast ports, including one of our board members who's on this call as well, Nicole Polidoro, and then we'll have port representation from Virginia, Baltimore, and Miami, and we'll have a discussion about what's been going on with the supply chain issues, that have been existing in LA, and then the problems going on in Shanghai with the shutdown because of COVID. So it should be a very dynamic conversation June 9th. And if you want to attend in person, we have only 15 spots for attending in person, so register early. And that's pretty much it. You know, we are at the top of the hour here, and Ying, thanks for putting this together. It was great to hear from Frank. I don't know if he's on anymore, but really do appreciate his time, and would love to stay in touch with everybody. I did put my information, actually my e-card, which Tal created for me earlier. I'm going to put it in one more time, and look forward to hearing from all of you.
Yeah. Tal, I
thank
would
you
like
so
to
much.
have an e-card from you.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I can say, actually, if we do have one more minute, all you
Go
need to do
ahead,
is
go ahead.
all you need to do is just to scan it even from my screen,
Yeah.
and you will have it in your phone immediately,
Ooh,
because the
okay.
e-card is really easy to use from the phone. So you can share it from here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for your, yeah.
And I can also share it through a WhatsApp if you want, even
Mhm.
without the ability to save to my contacts.
Yeah.
Did you
Thanks
got
for
it,
your-
Zing?
Yeah, good.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
Welcome.
you, everybody. Have a good rest of your holiday, Tal. Thanks for
Yeah.
joining us.
Thank
Dawn,
you.
great to meet you. You've had a lot of great
Thanks,
press
everybody.
lately, Bernadita and
Thank you.
Hannah
Thank
and
you so
Josh.
much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you so
Take
much.
Have a
care.
good day. Have a good